Well, we made it to the final lesson of phase one of your training. Basically, this whole time, guys, has been an introduction to the course, an introduction of what to expect. We had to basically start building the foundation before you get started. So uh, I can't wait for you guys to actually build your store. We're going to go straight to it. Rapid launching system that I have for you guys and this training blueprint, it revolves around building a store fast. Again, if you guys are familiar with the terminology MVP, it stands for minimum viable product. And it's really a business term that's used in the new kind of startup world and tech startups that says first launch a minimum viable product and create a beta kind of version of your product and gain your first initial customers and then perfect it. So don't try to be perfect at first. Okay, build a minimum viable e-commerce store, get a minimum viable product, then start building your data, testing, and you might find $1 million niche product and have $1 million store and run your first ad and it just kills it. Or you might have to try it 2, 3, 4, 5 different times. But the rapid testing method says you have to keep testing and testing and testing. So I'm going to also finish it off with one or two action steps before you move on to phase two of building your Shopify store. So here's the recap of what we went over, guys. We introduced you to the course, or I introduced you to the course, my high ticket rapid profits course with Dropship Academy. I introduced you to high ticket dropshipping. Okay, we went over that briefly, but you guys should already know it's just a fulfillment method of doing business. It's, you don't buy any inventory, you don't ship anything, and then you work with premium suppliers, hopefully, but we're also going to work with AliExpress suppliers from China selling high ticket as a bridge of maybe getting a few sales while we secure our USA suppliers, because that can take time. I've had suppliers approve me within a day. I've had suppliers take a month or two because every supplier is different. So to bridge that gap, we would work with like just kind of sourcing products from AliExpress, but high ticket products. Then I introduced you guys to the rapid testing method. And the rapid testing method broke down the entire process for you of what the expectation is, which is we build a general store. Now, if you guys need to, go back to the first or second video to go over the rapid testing method, but I don't want to do it here. But basically, the rapid testing method says that we want to get up and running fast. We don't need the perfect product at first because I want you guys to build momentum. I want you guys to get experience in launching a store, sourcing a product, running ads, because what happens is every time you do that, even if this product doesn't succeed, you're building database on your ads, right? So Facebook has an algorithm that starts figuring out who your customers are. So you're building pixels and data. Then you're collecting emails. Now you're kind of building kind of the framework behind what your business is going to be like. So even if your first product doesn't succeed, your second product might take off because you have more resources available to you from the first launch. Now, I don't want you to launch a store expecting to fail with that product. I just want you to know that in today's e-commerce world, drilling for oil is the strategy of success. The guys that succeed are the guys that pick a product, launch, test it to different audiences, and you guys are going to learn in my training how to find lookalike audiences, how to run Facebook ads, how to find influencers, how to use Google ads. But it's all about getting to know who you should be selling to, and sometimes it's about finding something that's outside the box. Maybe you're selling a common product like everybody else, but you find a specific audience to target that no one thought about. For example, let's say you're selling dog kennels, right? And everyone and their grandma, all your competitors, they're targeting people on Facebook that like dogs. They're dog lovers. They subscribe to dog magazines. They watch The Dog Whisperer. They own a house, right? Or they live in a urban area or rural area, whatever it is. But you decide, let me target cat lovers. Let me target motorcycle riders. I don't know, but I'm just giving you an example that sometimes thinking outside the box might get you a customer base that no one else is targeting. So it can be just as simple as targeting someone no one else is targeting. It can be as complicated as finding a product no one else is selling. But there's no limitations to what's going to work, guys. The reality is no one knows who's going to buy what for what reason. So that's why it's all about testing. The rapid testing method helps you. It's the rule of law basically in my method is like, it's not about just finding one product, one supplier, build a store, run ad, and then if it doesn't work, it means you failed. It's actually part of the journey is failing. Now, I've launched plenty of stores, guys, where my first product does well. and it turns into a high 6-figure or 7-figure business, and I'm happy. But even then, I still continue to find products from my other stores. So if you're in this for the long haul like I am, then you're going to be sourcing products, finding products for as long as possible. So it doesn't matter. It still plays into your strategy whether you succeed for your first or not. But for the majority of people I've ever come across, not just from my program and my members, but from others, low ticket, high ticket, any person that teaches how to make money online, every single one of them tells me, and people I've met all around the world, generally, I would say the majority of people tell me that before they found their winning store that made them a good amount of money and were happy with, they had to go through 1 or 2 or 3 different launches and stores and products. So just be prepared for that. That is part of your journey. I went over the 80-20 rule. Remember, guys, if you find yourself spending 80% of your time on finding a product, securing suppliers, building your store, then you're not doing it right, and you're going to need help. So reach out to us, maybe get the Done For You program, maybe outsource some things, maybe get some outside help from family and friends, because you're clearly not allocating your time right, and it's going to take you a long time to succeed. So the 80-20 rule is 80% of your time should be focused on testing your product, running your ads, testing different audiences, and basically everything related to results-driven tasks. So if you're calling suppliers, if you're adding products to your product page, if you're running Facebook ads, Google ads, or reaching out to influencers, sending out emails, responding back to phone calls or Facebook messages from people interested in your product, that's the 80% you should be focused on. Also, I told you about a little bit about general versus niche stores and why you should start with a general store first. Now look, if you find the holy grail of products, and you find that one really bougie, unique product that's going to go for $2,000, no one else is selling, because you're the only you're the only reseller the supplier's working with, and you just know you're going to kill it, and you want to build a very customized store revolve around that because there's a passionate amount of people for that niche, like like dog kennels, and you build a dog store because you know dog lovers are going to want to see pictures of dogs and puppies. That's one thing, but the downfall with that, yes, you will get more passionate people, you will get more conversions, but the downside is if that niche doesn't work, if that product doesn't work, then you're going to have to start from scratch, come up with a new name, a new logo, a new URL, and do it all over again, and that's just too time consuming. But when you build a general, very brandable store, you're going to have more success. And in the next lesson under phase 2, where we teach you to build your Shopify store, we discuss a little bit about branding. I'm actually going to have Emma, my Shopify design expert that builds my own store, show you guys how she comes up with a brand name, where she goes to design the logo, and how to do all that. So create a general brand that you can use to test all the products you want in one store. You don't have to go out there and repeat the process. That's why it's a lot easier. Don't get too overwhelmed when I say you're going to test 2, 3, 4 products. It's not like going through this whole training 2, 3, 4 different times. It gets a lot easier. I went over setting up your business, right? I didn't actually show you what to do legally, but I gave you some recommendations. And if you want to go back to that section, I told you what you need to get started. I showed you all the accounts. There was like 7 things minimum you need, which is a Shopify, ClickFunnels, MailChimp, your Facebook Business Manager account, your Google AdWords account, your YouTube account, because you want to have YouTube videos. And there's going to be other things you're going to need as you go along. But just remember, you're going to have to set up accounts and things like that. I told you how you can set up coaching calls and how to get help if you get stuck. I even went over how to become a Done For You member if you're not one, how to maybe if you want to partner with me down the road, there's always that option. So if you guys get stuck anywhere along the journey, there is always more help for you. So there's no excuses for you not to succeed. So again, before we move on to the part where I have Emma teach you how to build a store, I need to make sure you guys understand why we're doing what we're doing so you don't feel left out or you don't feel like, okay, you're confused. And that is basically revolving around my rapid testing method. So we're going to launch, at the end of the day, this is what it comes down to. We're going to launch a store. After you get all the legal stuff and build your foundation, set up your accounts, you're going to launch a store using Shopify. You're going to pick a product quickly, even if it's like already a used product out there that everybody else has, because I want you to get practice. Now, hopefully you find a winning product and you do some more research, because I'm going to tell you, come up with at least like 20, 30 product ideas first. And then I want you to start sourcing suppliers. And I'll teach you how to do that with USA suppliers, what to say, how to say it, where to find them, how to brainstorm ideas. But you want to quickly do this as fast as possible. So if you can hurry up within 2 weeks, find a product to test because you're always going to be testing products, that'd be great. So don't put too much effort on this. Now, of course, I don't want you to find any crappy product, but I will walk you through in my supplier training section that comes out, I think, in phase 3, how to find a product, how to brainstorm it, and how to get through and pick something so you can move forward. And the goal here with the rapid testing method is to test ads, test ads, test ads. So testing, 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 and repeat the process if it doesn't work out for you. Now, in the next 3 months, you should test at least 1 to 3 products per month. Okay, so always have a product ready to go, always have a supplier ready to go. And this can get costly for you guys because you're going to be running multiple ads, but the only way to guarantee success is to keep testing. I'll be real with you guys. I spend $1,000 a day on ads sometimes because, just I need to make sure I get traction and results fast so I have the resources to do it. But when I had my restaurant, I would spend $20,000, $30,000 a month on ads just to run ads to a restaurant I already opened and spent a lot of money. So the reality of the business world, guys, is you do have to spend money to make money. Now you can still test 1 to 3 products with no ads, but that is a lot of work for you to reach out to influencers and run basic Google ads. It's going to take you guys a lot longer, but it is doable. Success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Winston Churchill once said that. The key to success is to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And that's kind of what the rapid testing method requires. But more importantly, guys, at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway I need you guys to know and expect is you got to launch fast. You got to test multiple products, but you got to get really good at running your Google ads, your Facebook ads, your Pinterest, your Instagram. You have to become a marketing expert. You're not an e-commerce owner. You're an internet marketer. So if you can develop that mindset and understand it, you'll be good to go. Okay, some final quick tips before we move on to the next phase of building your store. Don't expect to get rich quick, okay? It's gonna take time. Expect to test your ass off, okay? Expect to test your ass off and just get familiar with failure if you need to. But of course, I want you to have a positive mindset and expect to succeed. So I hate to say it, but sometimes you're just going to have to go through a few trial and errors before you find the winner. So here are some common mistakes to avoid, guys, if you want to have a better chance of success. Rushed decisions. Don't rush your decisions because you want to make money now. Don't set up a store or run ads until you make sure it's dropship friendly, obviously. So that's another mistake you can make. You find a product, like, oh my God, this is going to be great. You try to promote it and you realize that you can't even dropship it. I've called suppliers before that I almost sold their products. And then they hit me back like a day later saying, AJ, we don't have any products for you to sell. We ran out of inventory. Our production assembly line, something is off, right? So the biggest mistake I see people make, guys, is not that they don't find a good niche to sell and make money. The biggest mistake is when I see somebody launch a successful store. They get thousands of sales a month, and then they have to refund the money because the supplier cannot fulfill those orders. Be careful, okay? Also, assuming you don't have to research because you just know. My buddy is selling this, my buddy's making that. No, do your research. I show you guys how to do Google keyword search, Google Trends, using Pinterest, using Facebook to see what's trending. But you do have to do some general research, of course. Also, assuming you have to sell something you're passionate about. No, you do not. Okay, that's a big mistake I see. Only looking and researching for hot products or niches. Avoid that, guys, okay? It's not all about just the hot products. Assuming that your wholesale price guarantees you'll make money, because sometimes it won't. You have to do your due diligence, okay? What is my reseller discount price versus what the minimum advertised price is? And you'll learn more about that when I start talking about the suppliers in products section. But there are scenarios where I've seen people lose money, so be careful. You got to factor in what the shipping's going to be, how you're going to price it, and what your margins are going to look like after it's all said and done. Because a supplier might tell you you're going to get 50% discount, but then you realize like that's 50% discount, not from the minimum advertised price, but maybe the general suggested retail price. So you're like, okay, great, but everyone else is selling it at the minimum advertised price. So when you factor that in with some shipping, you might actually lose money or barely break even. You don't want to do that. So do your research. You do your due diligence. Just going with a product that a research tool or friend recommended, again, is something you want to avoid. So a single product, guys, here's the thing. At the end of the day, your success is actually going to come probably from one product. And I'm talking about a product that doesn't even have multiple variants. So most of my success and most of the people I know that succeed, they end up making most of their money from one single product, not like 100. They're not getting tons of order from different places. So keep that in mind. Everyone is selling what everyone else is selling. Try to be kind of a little bit different when you drop ship. And everyone is selling to the same people. So one thing that you can do to stand out is if you're going to sell something that is pretty common out there, try to sell it to people no one else is targeting. That's kind of the real key to success. Okay. So hopefully you enjoyed this section, guys. I'll talk more about niches and products and suppliers, I think in phase 3. And again, I apologize. I say things just because I'm putting this program together as I speak, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Give me your feedback. I'll see you guys. Well, you'll probably be hearing from Emma on the next section. Some action steps I want you guys to take, guys, is to be sure to at least set up your business information first before you go on to the next section. But you don't need it right away. I just recommend it. So go get that. I'm going to give you guys a time frame of just 72 hours. That's all you have, 72 hours to launch your store and start making a real, not launch your store, but 72 hours to start getting your business LLC going, okay? 72 hours. And maybe 3 business days is fine, but you got 3 business days or 72 hours because you don't want to take your time on this. You want to move fast. And I see people sometimes get complacent, slow down because for whatever reason, they reached out to an attorney or they get, busy with life. Don't do that. Take action. Go get your corporation set up. Move to the next step. See you guys in the next few modules. Thank you.